The only system you...
World will never be the same again. Television. Odyssey. A new dimension.
Real! Only from Panasonic.
Graphic 16 from NEC.
4,000 games console.
Astro K. The Professor exceeded and below.
R26. Now get up to...
CDI starting at $2.99.
Child video entertainment system. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. What video game gems will we find? What diamonds in the rough will we unearth? Tune in to find out. We're currently kicking off July of 1982, and we last played Ratman for the Commodore VIC-20, the newest by Jeff Minter. It was not a good experience. Let's press forward and see our next game. It's time to go to the arcade and play Reactor. Let's take a look at Reactor with the advertisement flyer first. This is the latest by Gottlieb. Gottlieb. I never pronounce it correctly, but I know it is a famous one. We've currently only seen two other games in the arcades that were developed by Gottlieb. New York, and No Man's Land. And this is the latest. Smashing video action. New games with new ideas are hard to find these days. Reactor presents a totally original video game program with dazzling graphics and exciting sound effects. Add this to your location, because obviously the advertisement flyers were advertising to the operator of the arcades. And then if you flip it over on the back, you can see smashing the atoms, cooling the cores, and escaping the vortex. It still doesn't quite make sense. I could see in 1982 you not wanting to get the game because there's just a bunch of flashing lights, but you have to plug this in and play this game to really experience what it is. But this back of the advertisement flyer tells you how to play it. Smash enemy particles into the outer wall. If you touch the outer wall, you are destroyed. The core grows and grows, making the play area smaller and more challenging. Complete your enemy quota shrinks the core. Energy button gives you a super burst of power for stronger hits, and there's also bonus chambers to bounce enemies off. That's where you get some more points. And then if you leave the decoys immobile, you can use them to destroy enemies at will. And there's also a secret vortex that can appear, but still, it doesn't quite explain what the gameplay is like. This is a very original idea. Yes, the most amazing game. There's the example of the arcade cabinet. Really loving the color. And obviously they're using what looks like vector graphics or neon to make it pop on the sides, but this is not a vector-based game, even though that would be what you'd also see in the arcades at the time. And there's the arcade PCB, if you want to get technical and see all the chips. There is the control panel. This is played with the trackball, or one of the normal size trackballs. Over on the sides, you only have two buttons, one to shoot off energy and the other one to place a decoy. And I think it doesn't matter if it's one or two players, because you're going to be alternate play. You don't play at the same time. You can't play the trackball simultaneously. Sorry about that. Yeah, for controls, it's just two extra buttons besides the trackball, and there is the arcade marquee for Reactor. Oh yeah, with an example of the screenshot. Let's take a look at the manual. Now this is the operator's manual or instruction manual. It has information about how to set up the arcade cabinet, how not to shock yourself, all the technical mumbo jumbo. We care about the game. How do they explain what Reactor is in the manual, if they even do it all? So you can see they have installation, game operation, gameplay and scoring, sound and speech. You gotta have that in the arcades in 1982. Love it. Yeah, we'll breeze by the installation. Don't need the setup. Make sure you got all the parts though, that's for sure. Turn the game on, and then game operation. Tells you how the second player works. The additional player is alternate play. You take turns back and forth. And that's still kind of the norm. We haven't seen too many simultaneous play arcade games. If you want a lot of simultaneous or multiplayer experiences, you're going to find them more on the console and the home computer. Oh gosh, though, how to play is a massive. The game activity starts with the player's ship contained within the heart of a nuclear reactor. The player moves their ship using a trackball and has the use of rapid fire energy button and a decoy button to protect themselves. Oh yes, we will turn the volume up. I purposely turned the volume up for this game. It is amazing. During the gameplay, the core expands as the enemy particles attempt to destroy the player's ship by deflecting it against the kill wall. Simultaneously, the player must destroy the enemy particles by using his ship to deflect them against the kill wall. You push the energy button, which is the button on your control panel, to contact with the enemy particles. This will increase the force applied and push them against the walls. The more you push against the walls, then the reactor slowly goes down. In doing so, particles will be lured into a position that will allow the player to destroy them against the kill wall, destroy them against the control rods, or trap them in the bonus chamber. And you can also use the decoys to set the particles to hover around a certain area. When the enemy particles are bonus chambers, they deflect off the walls, and you get bonus points. So if you can lure them into those areas, then you get extra bonus points. You earn 15 points per bounce, and as play progresses, the reactor core continually grows in size and decreases the usable play field. So as the center core gets larger, you got less to worry about, because if you run on the walls, you will die. During the early rounds, the core is a rectangular shape and it expands outward, forcing the player to closer to the dangerous kill walls. The player can shrink the core by destroying either set of control rods rods or killing the total amount of enemies to go for each round. Later rounds, the rectangle expands into a swirling vortex. Unlike the rectangular core, the vortex is deadly to the player. As it enlarges, it will draw the player to its center and destroy him. A skillful player can get out of the vortex even after it's caught him by moving his ship in a clockwise direction. That's right, using the trackball. Massage that trackball. The ideal gameplay is balanced using the decoys and bounce chambers to accumulate large bonus points, extra ships, and the control rods to gain extra decoys. While it is very, very lengthy for the explanation, it was pretty precise of exactly how it works. And then they show you round progressions. It's instead of 5s, rounds up to 33, 4 repeats itself, but the game particles gain speed and mass and are harder to kill. So it's essentially still the arcade game we've seen where there isn't an ending, there isn't multiple levels, it's just going to get more and more difficult. I would say one of the tropes of the classic or golden age of arcade games. And then there's our gameplay and scoring. Oh my gosh, I've never seen a grid this detailed with scores. This is the pentultimate of what is the score in 1982. That's awesome. Yeah, they break it down even more. They have the control panel instructions, and this is what you see right above the control panel or right above the trackball, what the rules are, and then they give you some tactics too. Nice touch putting it in the manual. Usually you have to see it on the system itself. And then they have this speech adjustments. Oh yeah, we want to crank those up. Here we go. Let's go to the arcade and play Reactor.
Warning, or unstable.
That's right, the core is unstable. This is by Tim Skelly of Gottlieb. The sound quality of this game is excellent. Hear that nuance in the background? And fantastic. It's just enough to push it over the top. And if you notice that they're showing you the score in the next part of the attract mode, but here's the best part. If you push any of the buttons, it'll give you hints, and then it starts the tunes. Another arcade system that has the bass, but this song right here, I'm sure they're going for rock or metal, but because it's electronic, it sounds more like Kraftwerk or possibly techno. This is, I would argue, the best song or best sounding song we've heard from any video game ever up to this point. Just because of that bass thumping in the background. And it's explaining everything about how to play the game. And look, they even have the pulsing sides coinciding with the music. Beautiful. So we got 1 credit in. It shows all the instructions. There's the particles, the kill wall, the core, and the player. Anything that hits the wall is destroyed, including yourself. Knocking either side of the control rods will cool down the core, and that'll just make it less, there it is, cooling down. So you have more of a playfield before you get knocked in the walls. Get extra decoys if you knock in all the rods. Press the energy for extra hit power as you try to destroy the particles into the walls. Make sure they keep between you and the wall or you're going to die. And you can also lay a decoy, which will lure the particles into that spot. And there's those bonus chambers we read about in the manual. Yes, I believe this is the very first rock, hardcore rock sound. Yes, it does sound like that. All right, we're ready to go. This is controlled with the trackball, so look at this freedom of movement as I am the blue particle moving around. Do not touch the walls, but you have the button to drop a decoy, and I have the button to use my energy to fly them against the walls. Look at that. But the control is really, really nice. I don't get any problem for touching the reactor, so one strategy is hug the reactor as it's expanding, and just get them, because you don't get any penalty for touching the reactor like this. And you get tougher and tougher particles to push against the side, but the action is fast. It is frantic, and it's different. It's not a shooter. It's not a space game. It's playing off of the nuclear era that we're dealing in 1982. Oh yeah, they're getting tough. Got me. Oh, 3 different songs. I will tell you, when we play some arcade games here on the channel, it doesn't do justice going into the arcade and playing it for yourself. This is another example. While it's not a vector-based game, the sound effects and the sound quality of this game are top-notch.
32 left. 24 left. 16 left.
The other thing that drives it up is hearing the voices in the background.
8 left.
Oh, they got me. Arcade games that talk to you just add another notch in making it more fun to play. All right, so we got no more decoys left. I got one of them into the back wall. You can see it closes up. Yeah, no more decoys, so now I gotta work my way to push them against the wall as best I can.
24 left. 16 left. 8 left.
Voices in the background are giving us countdowns of how close we are to nearing the end. That's right, it's like the bump mechanic in Ys. I never thought of it like that. I'd say it's not as refined as... this is more refined than Ys.
24 left. 16 left.
But you are speaking of the future. We don't know what Ys is,
8 left.
but we are definitely bumping them. Oh no, this isn't good. Oh, that got close.
40 left.
It is very frantic, and it also is slightly a work of art, the game, because it feels like we're playing on a canvas rather than a video game. Because, you know, there's not any characters. There's not Pac-Man. This is subatomic particles we're playing with.
24 left.
So it's more abstract than most games we play at the time. Oh, there's my trackball going insane. If I can slow it down. We got the high score. Any more credits? No, but we can push the button and hear some more of the tunes as you go further. We haven't seen the vortex yet. Let's go again with another credit going in and pushing start.
Left.
I really thought we'd get to the vortex in that last time when the reactor was all the way on the edge.
16 left.
So Reactor is a feat to behold. You're here live in the chat. Go ahead and start throwing out what you would give this game for all the other arcade games at the time. So far, would you say this is one of the best arcade games you can play? Would you say this is a great or excellent arcade game? Or is this still just an average arcade game considering the other ones we've seen? We have seen some of the biggest arcade games in the golden age of arcade so far.
16 left. Enter activated.
I know another strategy is to put a decoy closer nearby the extra area over here to lure them over on that side. Oh, they got it. I see Ivan's given 5 stars for sure. One of the best arcade games, if not the best arcade game you could play at the time. Oh, wow. I'll give it for sound quality, and sound effects as one of the best of all video games so far. We've already heard some theme songs, some tunes, some bleeps and bloops, but this one goes to a whole nother level. Oh, Motos! Another one that is from the future. And I see Michael's throwing a 5 out there. There we go, got one in the bonus area there.
16 left.
Having played everything up to this point, I will say this game is very fresh. It doesn't feel like we've played anything close to or representing this style of gameplay. So if you went to the arcade and you were tired of all the shooters or characters and you wanted something new, Reactor is where it's at. Seeing 4 at least. That's true. It doesn't seem like the core is getting very further in this one. Because we still haven't seen the vortex.
24 left. 16 left.
That's true. We do need the sound chip. Very rarely we're going to hear a video game here on the channel that has a song before it plays, but the song may be a few bars and then that's it. This is one of the first games where I would actually want that first song that comes in, or the songs that play in this. It's something you would want to hear outside of the game. And that's very rare at this point.
8 left.
So there you go, a quick taste of Reactor in the arcade. Of all the video games we played up to this point, the arcade game is pushing the notch where it comes to audio, it's pushing it where it comes to creativity. However, the game itself is still something that is one-player affair, and while it is original, it can wear over time unless you get in that zone. So I'm going to say it's not one of the best arcade games you could play at the time, but it's very, very high up there. I'm going to go with 4 stars for Reactor. Gottlieb has only 3 games so far that they've played in the arcade. What they're going to do next is the big one that's going to push it above pop culture icon. And if you know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. We're going to see that one soon. All right, so it's time to leave the arcade and leave Reactor. Let's see where we're going now. We're back home on the Commodore VIC-20, and this is Red Alert. Let's take a look at Red Alert. Oh, that's true, and we are going to see the 2600 version of that at some point. We will see it later. So Red Alert has no box, just a few screenshots. Let's pop in Red Alert by Simon Parker. This one is the beginning of July 1982. This is our very first video game that is made in the Netherlands. So this one is a Scramble variant. A very, very choppy, very, very slow version of Scramble, and it's keyboard only. Even though I got my Commodore VIC-20 joystick plugged in, it does not respond. You have to know which keys to play the game. There it is. And all I can do is drop bombs because I've tried every other command, but it doesn't work correctly. We played several side-scrolling video games, several Scramble variants. This one even could play slightly similar to Mariner, but look at how choppy and slow the gameplay is. Especially when we've seen VIC-20, that's all I'm going to show. That's it, because Red Alert is really not very well done on the VIC-20 and doesn't play as well as other games on the VIC-20. So even though we've seen better than this, I'm still going to say it's pretty bad. Down here in the bad range, Red Alert is like halfway between broken and bad. There's much better the VIC-20 can do, much better the home computer can do. Yes, if you're scrambled out now, we're going to see a lot of Scramble. Oh yes, that's a good point. Worse than a handheld game. Yikes. That's low, Manly. That's low. All right, let's see our next game. We're still hanging out on the Commodore VIC-20. This is Road Toad. Another game that we don't have much artwork for. All I could scramble up was someone posted the cassette tape of Road Toad. Let's pop it and play Road Toad by Nibbles and Bits, published by Commercial Data Systems at the beginning of July 1982. I believe that was basic, and this one's another one. Road Toad is a Frogger variant at home. So far, there's only been one official way to play Frogger at home, and that is in Japan. On the PC, NEC PC 6001. So here we go, another copycat of Frogger. It is tile-based, but you can see that it's using the joystick to control, and it actually responds really well, very fast for the Commodore VIC-20. And whenever you die as a cross. There's no splatted frog. This actually plays pretty well. It responds quickly, and you are moving tile by tile as you move to the top, but it works well enough to play Frogger, especially when there's not a real official way to play Frogger. We have seen better, though. The best Frogger, in my opinion, that you could play at home is Pacific Coast Highway. Check that one out. But Road Toad's still pretty good. For the Commodore VIC-20, this is one of the better ones. So far, we've seen... There hasn't been a Cornsoft version of Frogger yet, and there hasn't been a official Konami version of Frogger on consoles yet either. We've only seen one official one for the Japanese home computers. Judeo-Christian Toad. And it makes more sense, too. Wait a second, I was on the back of the crocodile. It didn't work? This crocodile doesn't let you go anywhere. Man, you lose all lives, it flashes up. It makes more sense to play as Road Toad because you can't go in the water. Toads don't go in the water. Frogger made no sense. Maybe that's why all his friends picked on him. He was the frog who couldn't go in the water. But Road Toad, yeah, it makes sense. He can't go in the water. All right, so I don't trust the crocodile now. How I make it across. It does look like Acid Trip Frogger. Yes, love it. All right, well, I'm already a fan of Frogger. And while we played better versions at home, it's still very early on when you could play Frogger at home. So Road Toad's still a really fun time. I'd say around average for all the games you could play. It doesn't push anything above that, but it works well enough, and it does use the joystick on your Commodore VIC-20. So I'm going 3 stars of all the home computer games up to this point. As far as Frogger, though, check out Pacific Coast Highway. Yes, maybe the Toad crossed the road. Only you can find out. All right, let's see our next video game. We're going to the Apple II, and this is Robot Battle. Robot Battle is really hard to come by, really hard to find information for and artwork for. The screenshot of the box that I have is terrible. It is the lowest resolution I've ever seen. If you have any more screens, please let me know. Now, this is not to be confused with another Robot Battle that's by Softside Magazine. And we're not going to see that one later until it's re-released as Robot Attack. There isn't a known copy or a way to play Robot Battle by Softside Magazine. But this is a different Robot Battle, not to be confused with that one. Let's pop in and play Robot Battle on the Apple II at the beginning of July 1982. Oh, that's true. Whenever we see the cartoon, the ads also haven't come out, the official ads for Frogger. You know, the ones where Frogger's at a party or business party and he talks to the screen. This is United Software of America by Adam Bellin. Way to go, Adam. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen, Robot Battle is the very first time you could play Robotron 2084 at home. All right, I'm ready to go. Yes, and we got our joystick plugged in, hitting J for joystick. If you want to play 2 players, it is still an alternate player affair, just like the arcade. So I'm going to go 1 player, and we're going hard mode. Let's go. All right, so there's only one big problem with this game. It looks the part, but it cannot play the part because the arcade had the twin stick shooter. This one only has 1 stick. So whenever I'm playing, I gotta move and shoot in the same direction I'm moving. But I can still rescue the player. I'm interested to see how many robots they put on the screen for this. This is obviously looking just like Robotron 2084, but we've already seen twin stick shooters that allowed you to move and control the player character at the same time. But this doesn't look like it's based on that. This looks like it's actually based... Oh, they got me. Actually based on Robotron 2084. Yeah, we've been using our imagination to play these video games to determine what is this on the screen. What are we looking at? Are those really robots? But now we got to use our imagination for the box and any other artwork. If the games get that obscure or they're very difficult to find. This actually works really well, even though it's not a twin-stick shooter. If you were a big fan of the arcade, and this being the very first time you could play a Robotron 2084 variant at home, it works quite well. If only they had a way to program in the twin stick, but this is sadly only on 1 Apple II joystick. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with that one, but that one's another game we'll see in the future. Look at this, they even added the variation of the different robots. We do have the people to pick up, but I'd be hard-pressed to say, how can you really tell where the people are on the, like, which ones right now are robots and which one right now are people? Can you really tell? It's very difficult to tell the difference. They've already put in the barriers, too. And they're doing a really good job at having a lot of different objects on the screen at once. Look at this. Look how many enemies we have coming at us. I want to see a little further, and I want to play a little longer to see if the Apple II starts chugging along because there's that many objects on the screen. I mean, look at this. This looks like the arcade with as many robots that are flying at us. And there's a human being. I got it. I can barely tell which one's the human or the robot. They're a little more purple for the human beings, but other than that, it's the same. It looks really similar to the robots. So here on Chronologically Gaming, I give you the sights and the sounds of video games, but one of the biggest points of playing a video game is the control. What does it play like? And sadly, that's very difficult to explain unless you have the controller in the palm of your hand. So this game, while it does look the part, and it does sound the part for a good Robotron game, the biggest part that's lacking is the gameplay. We've played plenty of other shooters on the Apple II and arcade-style games, but because this is meant to be lots of enemies coming at you at once, and the arcade allows you the freedom to move and shoot different directions, this does not. So it feels slightly clunky just because it's designed to be a game that allows you to shoot more than you're supposed to, but this can't do it. You can't do it on the Apple II. If only we had a game that you could put... I'm thinking of the Atari VCS, where you have your two joysticks and you play Robotron 2084. I feel a little slowed down, but I really can't fault it too much, being the first time you could play what looks like Robotron 2084 at home. Oh, go get it. There we go. And they do give you plenty of lives. Well, there you go. Game over, player one. And do we have any key to begin? Oh, it just goes right to the beginning. If we did want to select 2 players, it would just be alternate play. So you wouldn't be getting 2 people playing at the same time. So for Robot Battle, of all the games you could play on a home computer, it is unique. This is the first time you could play Robotron 2084 at home. But other than that, I'd say it's still average. The control is what really brings it down. It is an action-packed game, frantic, and you get to shoot all things at once. But I'd still say it's around the average range. So I'm going to go 3 stars for Robot Battle. I can kind of understand why this one is harder to come by the artwork. It's just not as super popular. Yeah, good copy as well. But that's not all. We also have Robot Battle for the Atari home computer. If that's all you had, then this is the other way to play it. Another one that we couldn't find a lot of artwork for, just a few screenshots. And for other versions, there's alternate ones. We're going to play the first one of Robot Battle by United Software of America in the beginning of July 1982 for the Atari 800, if you could shell out the cash. Is this one better than the Apple II? Let's see. So this is another one, again, looks like Adam Bellin did this one as well. It gives us the option, we're going to go joystick. Now, the difference here, though, is this is played on the Atari VCS joystick. And if we do 2 players, oh, it's not doing hard mode. It's easy and regular mode. Okay, we'll play regular. We did great before. Oh, nice. Sound effects are different, but I'd be even more hard-pressed to say, can you even tell the difference between a robot and a human? Look how close they are. I do have artifacting turned on because it allows for some of the colors to come through. Otherwise, this is a completely black and white game affair. And if you had the correct monitor plugged in, this is the way you'd be seeing it in 1982. You'd want to have some of the color, but sound effects are pretty nice. Better than the Apple II, which makes sense. But controls are still the same. Now, I'd like to know, I'm going to plug in the second Atari VCS joystick. Does it work with both? I want to see if it does anything. Does anything happen? No, it doesn't. So a missed opportunity. Why didn't they program this to use both Atari VCS joysticks, where you could move and attack with the other joystick? This looks the part. I'd say it even sounds a little bit better than the Apple II, but it still doesn't have the gameplay because I just feel so limited having to run and move with the same joystick. You need 2 sticks for a Robotron 2084 game to be a really good one. And off the top of my head, we haven't seen any home version of a twin-stick shooter game. Everything we've seen with 2 sticks or being able to move and shoot different ways has been in the arcade. But they got a great formula in their hands. Look at how well this looks. Well, I know it's hard to tell the difference between robots and human players, but how many enemies they have on screen at once, and really, really close to Robotron 2084. Nice job. Yeah, sound effects are top-notch, and the more you explode, it seems to make larger sounds. Love it. All right, so that is Robot Battle for the Atari home computer. I'm still with the same as the Apple II. It's around the 3-star range. A very average title, and it just brings it down because of the gameplay. Making a game that's supposed to be two sticks moving around, and you bring it down to 1, it doesn't play as well. And we're going to see a lot of that. That's true, yes. You do whenever you play on the Atari, but we haven't seen that yet. The only one we've seen is the Robotron 2084 in the arcade. Yes. Yeah, that's true. No flickering or slowdown. You know what? Because we haven't seen too many Robotron games, I'm going to bump these up. Robot Battle needs a little bit more. I'm going to say 3.5 stars. It's unique that this was so quickly available to play at home, and being able to put so much on screen is pretty impressive. So I'll go 3.5 stars for each one. They just get a notch above. Very nice. Now, let's see our next game. It's time to go back to the Apple II, and this is Voodoo Castle. And if you think to yourself, we've played Voodoo Castle countless times, you're correct. This is the very first time that Scott Adams has remastered Voodoo Castle in his Saga series, or the Scott Adams Graphic Adventure series. So this is number 4, Voodoo Castle. Let's take a look at the box. Oh yes. So they redid not just the front of the box, they redid the game itself and added graphics, and it's not a text-only affair. And they even show you on the front, look at the... They have examples of the in-game screenshots. Really, really nice. Changed up what it looks like, too. Let's flip it over on the back. And they even changed the back. When we saw the usual Adventure International games, this looks totally different. When you sit down to a Scott Adams graphic adventure game, anything can happen. Mom turns into a mermaid. Dad turns into a Viking. You turn into Dracula, and your dog turns into just a really sad dog. As the name implies, it shows you that there's classic adventures that they've redone. We have a suggested age group as usual, graphic orientated, and then they also show you the skill level, which is similar to the old box by Adventure International. That's right, it's the return of the Bob Ross of computer games. Let's see what other artwork we have for Voodoo Castle. There's the disc we would have played it, and then just a screenshot. For the versions, this has 2 different sides to play. Let's pop in and play Saga number 4, Voodoo Castle by Adventure International at the beginning of July 1982. If you haven't got enough, wait a second, we just started the game. Flip the disc over. We're right here in the beginning. Okay, we'll flip it over. There we go. Now, as the other games we've seen by Scott Adams, these remastered ones have an open letter to not pirate your games. We are not going to read the letter. We're going to go ahead and just play the adventure. And then it tells you what this is going to, what the additional features you have, besides the normal text game. What? Flip the disc over again. We just got here. Unicorn dog. This poor sad dog. I wonder if it was Scott Adams' dog. All right, so we flip the disc over, hit return. Prepare yourself. Do we want to restore a previously saved game? We do not. And then do we want the Votrax voice synthesis? We don't. Even if I could emulate the Votrax voice, it has to go and talk through the entire thing. So this would be the longest playthrough or the longest tease of a text adventure game. So we're going to say, no, we do not want the game to talk to us. But you could have the luxury of the game talking to you at the time. Ah, there it is. Scott Adams knows how to put on his charms. This program will allow you to have an adventure without ever leaving your armchair. You'll find yourself in a strange new world. You'll be able to examine, take, and otherwise manipulate the objects you find there. You'll also be able to travel from location to location. I'll be your puppet in this adventure. Oh, Scott Adams, how you tease the show. Don't accept a pirated copy. Now hit return. Okay, so this looks the same as all the other text adventure games. It's all text. It has the top telling us where we are, shows us our exit and visible items. And then down at the bottom it says, "Welcome to Voodoo Castle" by Alexis Adams, dedicated to all the moms out there. We've played, I think, 5 versions of Voodoo Castle. So this is like the 5th time we've ever played. And if you want to see the graphics, the whole cool part is now it has where you are. You can see a picture of where it is. It's not just text. That's where the cool part is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up this coffin. Oh, and it opens. We can see it. And it even tells you, open the coffin. Oh, I guess it just tells you that the coffin's open here. All right, so after the coffin, let's examine coffin. And as soon as you start typing, I gotta spell it right. As soon as you start typing, then it's going to go back to the text parser like this. Oh my gosh, look! It's Scott Adams. At least it kind of looks that way. Wait, so who is in the coffin? Does it tell me? We found Count Christo. He's been cursed. There's only one way to flee. One way for him to flee. Find it and he'll go free. There's a man here wearing a sapphire ring. All right, so let's get that ring. Okay, we got it. And then now where do we go? Let's go east. Nice. Can we look or does it tell us? We're in a tunnel. There's a bloody knife, a massive stone door with a sapphire set into it. All right, so let's get knife. Okay, and does it show? Yeah, it shows the knife is gone. I don't think I saw it on the screen. But look at these high-res graphics. This is like the creme de la creme of what graphics would look like. Count Fro, I love it. All right, so as usual, I'm going to be following a walkthrough. I am not going to get lost in 1982 playing text adventure games. If you want to see me get lost, then look back in our older videos back in 1980 and 1979. I was totally lost in those text adventure games, which gives you the true text adventure game of what it would be like to experience it at the time. All right, so now we want to wave ring. The door vanishes. Oh, the ring glows briefly and the door vanishes. How you would have figured that out, I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, so let's drop the ring. Look at this. We don't have a picture of the ring anywhere on the screen, but the high-res graphics really add to the immersion. Okay, so let's go shoot. Oh, and we made it through. Is that the hole we went through? It looks so small. How do we fit in there? All right, so we have look now. What do we have in here? I see nothing very special. Well, what do we see? I'm in a room in the castle. Visible is here. We have a plaque, a slippery chute leading up, a crack in the wall, and a hole in the wall. So we have all that here. Nice. Okay, so let's go get plaque. Off the wall. Got it. Can we examine plaque? There's something written there. Read plaque. I can't do that. Print's too small for the unaided eye. Oh, so I need a magnifying glass. I see. Okay, so let's go hole. Go hole! You startled the medium and she vanished. What? Wait, is that Kirby or is that a crystal ball in the middle? What is that? I see nothing very special. Okay, so nothing here. Let's go examine the ball. Examine the crystal ball. I see nothing very special. Spirit vibrations drive me from the room. What? I just get driven all the way back to the tunnel? That makes no sense. All right, so let's go west. Back in here. Let's go south. Ooh, mysterious. Let's go west. Nice. So this is us moving throughout the castle, and it's a totally different experience when it's pictures involved. All right, so the next one is, after we go west, then let's go south. Ooh, and let's go east. Look at these high-res pictures. All right, so let's look in this room. This is the armory. We have a shield, a dull and broken sword, a knight's suit of armor. Okay, let's get the shield. Got it. Wait, is he still holding the shield? They didn't update the picture. All right, so let's go west. Oh, let's get the sword, too. Sword and shield, and then let's go west. And go north. Then head over east. And look. We have the dingy stairwell, and we have broken glass here and stairs. We just walked by here. Why didn't we break our feet on the, or rip our feet on the glass? All right, let's get some glass. picked it up. No difference in the picture. We have seen some graphic adventure games that have the change of what you just picked up, which is pretty cool. We should have, yes. 0 stars, but these high-res graphics, you can't give 0 stars to these. All right, so let's go east now. Oh, what do we have here? The big kettle. Some room in the castle. Okay. All right, let's go north. What is that? Animal heads? Okay. Now, I don't have to use too much imagination because I see, obviously, it looks like a moose or a lion, but whenever you want to see the text, it tells you what is visible, thankfully. Otherwise, you would be guessing. We have played text adventure games that don't tell you, they tell you squat, and you just have to say, type, get moose, and they're like, no, it's not a moose. It's actually an antelope or something. Or taking off shoes and did Die Hard on the glass. All right, so after we go north, let's go east, and east again. And we are currently in a lab. There's a juju bag, chemical tubes, labeled chemicals that are here. Okay. All right. We have examine chemicals. They appear to be mixable. Oh, man. Imagine the puzzle you'd have to figure out for this one. I do know that Adventure International allowed you to write in, like you needed help or hints for things, and then if you paid a certain fee, then they would give you the answers back. Very clever, Scott Adams. If you pay enough, then you can get all the answers. All right, so they appear to be so let's mix them. Mix those chemicals. Okay, that was very generic. Which chemicals? What do we actually do? Did we just throw them against the wall? That's what mixed chemicals means? Okay, so let's get those chemicals we mixed somehow. Okay, we got them. One of the test tubes exploded, but we're still alive. It's okay. Let's drink it. Chemicals. There's a clap of thunder. I'm now 4 feet tall. So it's turning into Alice in Wonderland. All right, so after that, let's go west. So now that we're really small, we can fit into small places. Let's go west again. We're going to make our way back where we were before. Go and head south where we were, and now let's move the kettle. Got it. So now that we're really, really small, we're 4 feet tall. Now we can go down in the hole. So go hole. It's too dark. So wait, the person who did the graphics, you could have just left it black because it's too dark, but they drew and made the words it's too dark. Nice. That's right, way before Nintendo Power Hotline. Man, am I excited for the Nintendo Power Hotline era. Oh, I can just taste it. So it's way too dark in here. Let's read the plaque. It says safe with a combination. We got the combination for the safe in here. All right, so after the safe combination, then let's go look. Can we look? Do we have anything? No, it's too dark to see in here. We can't see anything. All right, I think we've had enough taste. We've actually played further in Voodoo Castle than we've ever played here on the channel. It will not be the end of Voodoo Castle. Scott Adams has a quest similar to mine where he must have his games on every single computer that's available out there. So this is not the end of Voodoo Castle. It's not the end of Scott Adams. But for all the games you could play up to this point, I would still say this is an above average game. 3.5 stars for Voodoo Castle. He has improved a little bit of the text parser in this. The graphics add to it, and the presentation. While it is the very first time that someone's remastered it, it was done very, very well for a text adventure game. It's keeping the adventure genre alive. That's true. Yes, it is. Very scary. All right, and with that, let's see our next game. From one adventure game to another, here on the Apple II is The Sands of Egypt. Starting with the box, let's see the artwork for The Sands of Egypt, starring Lord Charles Buckingham III. This is the disc version. Oh, nice. They make it like a movie. Directed by Steve Bjork, story by James Guerin, screenplay and special effects. Very cool. This is by Datasoft. Let's flip it over on the back. The Sands of Egypt is an action-adventure starring you. Wait a second. Action-adventure? I don't think so. You're in the role of Lord Charles Buckingham III, the world-famous British explorer attacked by nomads while on an archaeology expedition to Egypt. Lord Charles was knocked unconscious and is now hopelessly lost in the fabled land of the pharaohs. Oh no, are we going to be lost in the desert again? We've already had adventure games that put us lost in the desert, and then we have had some adventure games that start us lost in the desert. Is that why we have so many adventure games later that you're lost in the desert? Because they started here in 1982? As the star, you'll encounter blistering heat in the barren sands and experience the ecstasy of a desert oasis. Take rest under the shade of a date palm and enjoy the elixir of life, water. Continue the search, you'll risk all to find the secret treasure chamber concealed within the Lost Pyramid. The Sands of Egypt is a split-screen animated adventure game. High-res computer graphics are united with a text display of hints and riddles. Unlike other adventures, Sands of Egypt describes the wonders of the desert and also paints a detailed picture of each above. The game commands a vocabulary of over 100 words. Wow! Finding the right words is part of the fun. Finding the right words is part of the fun. That's what they should advertise for most adventure games. Oh yes, that's right, CinemaWare. We're going to see them not very soon. We'll see them later. A true test of endurance and self-reliance. This is Sands of Egypt. Here's the other artwork we have for the Sands of Egypt. Besides the box, we also have the 5 1/4 floppy disk. You would have popped in your Apple II at the time with an example of the screenshot. And we have the manual. Man, the back of the box had a lot of info. What is the inside? Okay, this is the inside sleeve. They break down what an adventure game is. What's a computer adventure game, Timmy? The computer adventure game allows you to be a modern-day explorer. It's very similar to what Scott Adams and other text adventure games, the really high-quality ones, do. They tell you what it is, like what it means to play an adventure game. It is very different than arcade games. This is for the thinking game player. In this computer adventure, you assume the role of Lord Charles Buckingham III. You have to deal with thirst and search throughout the Lost Pyramid. Make sure your computer's turned off and the power of the TV and the disk drive is turned off. If you have a disk drive, no one had a disk drive back then. It was way too expensive. After loading the Sands of Egypt, you'll notice the screen's divided into 2 parts. They have the top part with a picture, that's the wave of the future, and then the bottom with a text parser. The first thing that a good explorer does is draw a map. That's right, you drew a map at the time. It'll probably be the difference between success and failure. One of these letters shows you which way you can go, north, south, east, west, up and down. We're familiar with these from text adventure games. And then they have over here tips and tricks and ways to help you through or navigate the game. This one plays with the 2-word text parser. So we've seen this kind of technology before in a text adventure game. Nothing super drastic. And that's it. Oh, you can also type help. Well, we've seen that also with text adventure games. So pretty standard for the time. Let's pop in and play The Sands of Egypt by Datasoft in the beginning of July 1982. Yes, cassette is the way to go. Well, especially if you're in the UK. Look at that, it's like a movie. Brian Montford, James Guerin, Ralph Burris. Way to go, guys, giving us The Sands of Egypt. Now, first off, wow. Look at this. There is actually sand blowing in the desert. We've never seen this in a text adventure game, well, graphic adventure game. Usually it's still pictures. And there's only 1 or 2 other games we've seen that had some animation, but not playing off while we're here. And they did do it. We are lost in the desert. There's a really, really tiny compass right here above my shoulder that's showing you which directions you can go. So we're really lost. We can go in all cardinal directions. Yes, I can't believe this. Animated graphics is blowing me away. We've played every text adventure game and every graphic adventure game, and there's only been one, but it's not constantly moving like this. So cool. Okay, so first what we want to do is get out of the desert. Let's go north. Oh my gosh, we actually moved. We moved to the same place, but did you see that? It was parallax scrolling in a text adventure game? That's nuts. Okay, let's go north again. It's moving. We're actually wandering on the desert. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is he going crazy? It's because we played everything, and we've never seen this before. Let's go north again. Look at this. Wow, and they give us a new place where we're at the top of a cliff, and we see nothing special. We usually don't see very many things special in text adventure games. Okay, so let's head west. I want the animation again. So cool. And it tells us what we see. We see sand. Yes, I would have been like, oh my gosh, look, it's quick. You got to see this adventure game. Gather the whole family around. Scott Adams hasn't done this. Or maybe Scott Adams is watching this or playing this game right now, and he's like, son of a bitch. They're taking my idea and making it even better. All right, let's go west. Yes, there we go. You're lost in the desert. Now we can see sand and a shovel. Get that shovel. Because the animation, I'm drawn to play the entire game. I want to see it all. Okay, so after we get the shovel, let's head north. Wow, look at that. And it even brings in the snake on the side. So now we have the snake. We're going to kill that snake. You're not killing me. How do we want to kill the snake? With shovel. So they're using, it's 2-word text parser, so we couldn't type a long sentence out like in Zork. Now we have snake oil left behind. Nice. All right, so after we get that, let's go ahead and head east. We have nothing to pick up the snake oil. Look at that. The snake oil goes away off the screen. So cool. And then let's go east again. It's too cool. Go east again. And there we go. We can see a canteen. We don't have to even use our imagination. It tells us what it is. Get that canteen. Got it. And now we can just see sand. Yeah, we can't take the snake oil, but can we drink it? All right, let's head west now. And go south. This actually feels like I'm exploring because of the parallax scrolling. That's crazy. All right, let's go north. And now let's dig. We found something. What is it? Look. We can see a torch. Okay, get that torch. How did you know to dig right here? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure if you were making a map, you realize that you're circling around the desert and you'd have to just dig in every place with your shovel. All right, so after we get our torch, let's head north now. And it does tell you which directions are possible with this little tiny compass there, but it's in the middle of the desert. We can go everywhere. All right, let's head north again. Back at the cliff, let's head west. We're going to retrace our steps. Go west again. So cool. And then go north. Look at this. Oh, so cool. So we're back at the snake oil. Let's go ahead and fill canteen. We filled the canteen. Wait, why did we drop the canteen? You filled it. I didn't say drop it. Listen carefully, game. All right, let's get canteen. Canteen. I like the font change. It's not the typical Apple II font. They changed it up a little bit. It just shows, it just feels like I'm playing a more high quality text adventure game. Yes, get in land speeder. Love it. All right, after we get the canteen, let's head south. And head east. This is the most fun I've ever had being lost in the desert in a video game. All right, let's head east again. We're at the cliffs now. We got what we need. Let's go down the cliffs. Does it animate? Okay, it flips down. But look, it still has the sand blowing, even though we're down here. All right, let's head south. And we see nothing special, but we're getting thirsty. How you would know to dig, I have no idea, but we're digging here, and we found something. What in the world is that? It is a magnifier, okay? Get magnifier. Base of a cliff, see nothing special. Okay, we're still thirsty. Hopefully we won't get dead from thirst. Okay, so after we got that, let's head west. Wow, the cliff animates or you move. And let's go west again. Oh, and we're back in the desert. So let's head north. And then south. And then east. So why did I go up north, south? Oh, we're here. We did it. We made it to the oasis. Yes. Ooh, it looks so nice. So that's where we're going to put our stop for the Apple II version of the Sands of Egypt. That was an experience. I can only think of 1 or 2 other graphic adventure games that had some kind of animation. But the ones that did it didn't execute it very well, and the game itself wasn't as playable. That one felt like a tier above everything we've seen so far. Yes, right, we made it to the water. All right, so I'm going to say, of all the games you could play at this time, this is up there. This is one of the best games as far as adventure games you could play. But when you consider all the other computer games out there, I don't know if I could go in the range of 4.5 to 5 stars, but Sands of Egypt is high quality. Just because of the jarring difference between this and other games, I'll say 4 stars, but I wouldn't push it as high as that because we're still using a 2-word text parser, and the adventure itself you're in the desert. So, I mean, how much enjoyability would you have with the puzzles? Because it is still very difficult. But 4 stars, excellent game for all the computer games. But that's not all. We also have the Sands of Egypt for the Atari home computer. And because we don't want to play the same game over from the beginning, we're going to take over where we left off on the Apple II. Let's take a look at the box for the Sands of Egypt on the Atari 800. Still playing it off like a movie. Great job, Datasoft. Front of the box has the who's directing it, story and everything. and looks the same as it was on the Apple II. Nice touch. Scott Adams has been dethroned. The other artwork we have for the Atari version is the ad by Datasoft at the time. Look what's coming up. The Dallas Quest. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of small. Lots of other text adventure games. And then we also have Nibbler on there, which we've seen. And then a few others that say are coming soon. Here's the manual that you would have had on the Atari version of the Sands of Egypt. I believe it's the same one. Yeah, it's telling you about what's a computer game, the introduction to the story, how you're playing, how you got lost in the middle of the desert, and then what you can use for commands and giving you some help. How to use that two-word text parser to get the computer to understand what you want to do. All right, let's pop in and play The Sands of Egypt. This is the port by Frank Cohen in the beginning of July 1982. Still by Datasoft. Now, we are not starting at the beginning because we've already played through this, so let's load it up. Yes, let's put in our save disk of where we left off. It doesn't really make sense on the Apple II, but it's fun. And now that we're loaded, we load the master disk back. Master disk is back, and we push the start key, and we are in. At the Oasis, we're by a pool. We can see the pool, a pyramid, a camel, and we are thirsty. So can we drink, right? Snake oil is poisonous. The adventure is over. We were right by a pool. Why would the game assume I want to drink snake oil? I want to drink the water in the pool at the Oasis. Care to try again? Yes, I would. And it just resets the game. Oh, man. All right, so let's try it again. Load. Will it let us? Yes, good. Let's go in pop our save disk in, load what we want, go back to the master disk. It's going to be a very, very fast affair. Usually, you would have to take the time to take the disk out and so forth. All right, so should I try drink water or am I going to die again? Let's try drink water. You can't do that. What are you talking about? It is right in front of me. What about dive in pool? What? Swim. Can we swim? We can. Okay, now drink water. Why can't we drink the water? Does it have to be in a canteen? That makes no sense. Okay, so let's go up. Go down. Go west. Oh, wait, so we're very thirsty. We're in the middle of water, and it won't let us drink the water? That is the craziest thing. Imagine in 1982 playing the text adventure game. It would drive you out of your mind that you can't do... Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, we're gonna see him later. That's a good point. Yes, very less cool. All right, so this one it still has the same animation that it had for the Apple II. All right, so let's leave. Wait, we can't go up or down? Down? Wait a second. How do we leave the pool? Stop swim. West? North? East? South? We are stuck in the pool. We can't leave. Exit. All right, let's just load. I can't figure out how to leave the pool, so I'll just load up my game. And load the master disk again. Okay, we're back. I don't understand why we can't take a drink, but we'll do what we can. All right, let's go ahead and drop the magnifier. It is dropped. Let's go ahead and drop the shovel. It is dropped. And let's go to the tree. No, go tree. All right, we're near a tree. It is a palm tree. Let's climb the tree. And we are still very, very thirsty. Oh, we're carrying too much. What else do we have? Drop canteen. Okay, climb tree. We had to drop all of our items to go up in the tree. So we're on the top of the tree. We can see dates, palm fronds. Look at that animated clouds. Man, this Sands of Egypt is incredible. I should have tried drown after everything wasn't working. All right, so let's get some dates. And eat dates. Tasty desert fruit. You're very thirsty. Okay, can we go back down? Let's get out of here. All right, and go west. We're still very, very thirsty. That's just terrible. How torturous would that be? East, back to the here. All right, so let's feed the camel. Wait, we can't do that? No! Do we eat the dates when we were supposed to feed the camel with the dates we ate? Oh my gosh. The frustration does never end. But you have to admit, of all the text adventure games, while it still has the frustration, the presentation is top-notch. Better than any other text adventure or graphic adventure game, but in a way, it's a slight notch above the others. It's not like a huge leap, but it is better than the other ones we've seen. So I'm going to say both on the Apple II and the Atari home computer, the Sands of Egypt is a 4-star game, considering everything else available at the time that you could play on a home computer. Our video game playing must come to an end, sadly. Tune in next episode for a shootout at the OK Galaxy and the very first licensed Star Wars game. That's it for today, and like I always say, may the Force be with you. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.